my little boy, who's 9, he's really smart, but he's got a phone now. And so the other day, his mum said to me, oh, you know he likes Andrew Tate? And I went, what? I said, so you like Andrew Tate? He went, yeah, Dad, he's a top G. And I went, right, OK, but you do know he says, like, really fucking stupid things. And he went, yeah, but he's still a top G. It is flowing through every school, even here. I mean, it's, you know, America, here, you know, all across Europe. It's integrating into young boys' souls.
And that's all they need, because it's a tough time to be a boy. At school, they're behind girls at every level, from early years to SATs, GCSEs, A-levels, university admissions and degrees. They've got to figure out sex and relationships in the post-Me Too era, and that's a minefield. And they've got toxic alpha influencers promising them empowerment, making them feel good about themselves.
The Times recently reported that schools across the UK are in crisis as the effects of online influencer Andrew Tate's vile misogyny infiltrates our classrooms and society.
I'm at an academy in North London to try and find out what's going on. Have our schoolboys really been infected with a toxic masculine virus?
All good, take a seat, boys. Thank you, first of all, for coming here. It's an interesting subject at the moment. A lot of men out there are struggling. They don't quite know what you're allowed to be as a man. Who here, and be straight, it's a tricky one, this. Who here likes Andrew Tate?
I don't know, it's 50-50.
It's 50-50? What do you mean?
I agree with some of the things, but when he starts being silly, going off track, that's when he loses me.
I think some of his views about women are quite extreme.
It's misogyny.
I feel like Andrew Tate could have been such a good role model. I mean, he has great ideas about how a man should be, but he uses his platform in order to, like, kind of badly influence men.
OK.
Some of you have been spoken to about bringing his name up in lessons as though it's a positive thing. Why do you think, as staff, we are pulling you up on that if you talk about Andrew Tate?
I mean, I see a lot of boys in my classes. They used to talk about, like, they're not going to get homework from female teachers. I guess they got influenced more by his ideas of, like, men being superior and stuff.
I'll mention Andrew Tate. There's another guy who I've interviewed called Ed Matthews, who is TikTok famous for being a bit of a disciple of Andrew Tate. Does anyone know who he is?
Yeah.
You do?
And have you heard of Sneeko?
No.
He's another one. They all kind of follow him.
They ain't saying much in front of their teacher and the cameras, but they're clearly familiar with Tate and his disciples.
That's interesting, actually.
And then the chat takes a different turn.
There's toxic masculinity and there's also toxic feminism.
So what would you say toxic feminism is?
Toxic feminism is probably a hate towards men and just believing they're all violent creatures.
OK.
You take a man and then you say, all men are this. It's silly. It's rubbish. You shouldn't do that.
I'd say it's quite unjust because they kind of, especially in media now, they're very much kind of like classing all men as this terrible thing.
Yeah.
And that people need to understand that that's a very small portion of people.
They were quite erudite and articulate, these kids, but it's very different to when I was a kid. Especially since the pandemic, I think that kids have been more driven into their phones on iPads and social media. I think I'm so grateful that I was fucking brought up in the 80s where I didn't have to deal with none of that shit. It just wasn't about, you know what I mean? If your mates were gonna come round, they knock on your fucking door, you go out on your bike. You know, there was a landline. That's how you answered the phone. You know, if you weren't in, you missed that call. No one can fucking trace you. I think there's something in that, and I fear for the youngsters now. It's a dangerous time, and I wish I fucking knew what the answer was. I really do.